welcome to the podcast, Can You Take My Shift? Your favorite coworkers are off the clock and back for another episode. Hello.
Hi.
What's your name? My name is Kelsey, the host of the CYTMS podcast.
Oh, my name's Amy, and I'm also the host of that podcast.
Wow, Amy, what an interesting name. How do you spell that?
A-M-Y.
Wow. You have such a gorgeous voice. Like, you must be from somewhere exotic.
Sure, you could say that.
I know this experiment is like all about who we are on the inside and not who we are on the outside, but I can't help but picturing that you're like 6'3", long, red hair, big boobies, what else? That's what I think you look like. Because yes, I know this is Love is Blind, but no way the producers would cast someone ugly.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No. Well, that and scene. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are back. It has been a month. Partially my fault, partially Amy's fault for falling in love with American and traveling all the time. And then partially society's fault. I blame society.
Yeah. Blame capitalism. It's the easiest thing to blame.
Yeah. Because the fact that I have to do a day job where I just can't sit here and talk about my life every day to you, but I feel like we get so much content from our day jobs because it's like, if you don't have a day job, you have nothing to complain about.
It's true. People always say, don't make work your personality. And I do agree to a point.
Yeah.
Or it can be like 20% your personality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But happy 68th episode. It is not the 69th episode. That'll be next time. But for this 68th episode, we'll do a little catch up, and then we'll get into what is going on, what is on our mind, what the title means, because love is for America to judge. It is not blind. It is for TikTok to judge and psychoanalyze. But before we get into psychoanalyzing complete strangers on the internet and diagnosing them with mental illnesses, Amy, how was your week? How's it been?
My week's been a little bit of a whirlwind. There's a lot of things going on at work that unfortunately I can't talk about. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot to go through. It's been a lot to figure out, a lot to process. But since we've had an episode, I got engaged. Yay.
Welcome to the club.
Very fun. Yes, for those of you who don't know, which I feel like most people do because I'm disgusting about it on social media, and I take any moment I can to be like, my fiance, because it's just really funny to say. Got engaged, didn't know what was coming at all, because I'm so oblivious. So oblivious. But I won't regale the story, it's been told enough. If you want it again, you can come to my streams and ask me. Shameless
you see what
promo.
happened. Becca was like, how do I propose to Amy? And I was like, well, Becca, at Granville Island there is this pirate ship. Now
are you sure this isn't what you wanted?
Okay, you're the one who has asked about the pirate ship, I think, more than me.
Because that's what I was like, Kelsey, you love boats. There's a pirate ship. Why not do that for your bachelorette? And I was like, I don't know, hire a drag queen to be on the boat with us. Sounds like a great fucking time.
No, it truly does. Yes. Well, yes, Amy did get engaged, and she is now no longer on the market. I mean, even though before you were engaged, you aren't on the market. But I don't know how that works. But apparently,
I was pretty much called. I was pretty much called for. Is that the phrase?
called?
Called?
Spoken for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, called
Yeah.
does not sound correct.
Yeah.
Spoken for, but
Spoken for.
yes.
So before Becca proposed, Becca goes to me like, I'm gonna propose to Amy. And this was like a day or two before, I can't remember. And then I was like, why didn't you tell me? It's like, oh, you can't keep a secret. I want it to be known. To be known to everybody. When it counts, I can keep a secret.
This is yes, I will say this is fair, and I will say sorry for ever doubting you, but I will say I think you've only ever kept one secret from me our entire friendship, and even that one you like almost blew.
True. But this one, you had no idea.
No, not a single thought in my head, so no thoughts about it. But it was very exciting.
Yeah, like I'm keeping a secret from you right now because Trevor's like, you can't tell anyone because this is like an NDA.
Oh,
I'm very quiet on my stream right now, apparently. Okay, maybe I'll turn up my mic.
Oh, I didn't think you were too bad, but
okay, I just turned up my mic a bit. But thank you, Trevor. So yes, I have a secret right now that you don't know that Trevor told me, and he's like, Kelsey, NDAs, and I'm like, I won't even tell Amy. That's how good it is. So Trevor, the secret, if you are listening, the secret you told me, Amy still does not know.
I will say, yeah.
I don't think you'd care that much. I mean, but you know,
secrets are fun.
Yeah, no, I love secrets.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I read an article that gossiping is healthy for humans, and I took that as that is Bible, that is testament. Gossiping is
That's
healthy.
gospel.
Yeah.
I pray on that every day. Amen.
Yeah. And it's hard because I work in a law firm, and there's so much going on that I obviously cannot say because it is the legal system. So like I'm in big trouble if I ever talk about like any cases or like files we have online. And like it's so hard because there's some real doozies, but I just can't.
Yeah.
You can't talk about, but there are some doozies. But so it's been really busy at work because we have a bunch of stuff going on, a bunch of like files are going like. So a big misconception is that lawyers go to like court every day. Not true. There's so many most cases settle before they ever get to court because for a case to go to court it costs like almost $100,000. So you really just want to settle.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're suing for money, you want to settle because then your court fees come out of you're winning. So like you don't get that much if you have to go to court, so that's always why people try to settle everything.
Makes sense.
But anyways, we got a lot going on right now. And so one of the other assistants, she went to New York because her daughter was singing in Carnegie Hall, and she's like, I have to go. And I'm like, if my daughter was singing Carnegie Hall, I would like, you have to go.
Yeah. Like, when is that ever going to happen again? You don't know.
Exactly. It's a once in a lifetime thing. So we have like this like part-time person who works like 1 day a week and she covers vacation. So she was like, yeah, I can cover your vacation. But then so she comes in. So she was supposed to come in on Monday. She calls in sick because she's too tired. She's also retired. She's retired. She's an interesting woman. When I first met her, because she trained me, she said, I have a big personality. That's how she describes herself. Yeah. And she's like also like deaf in one ear. Retired. She also asked me, so she saw my engagement ring. And she's like, oh, is this your first husband? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm on my fourth.
Oh my, damn, lady, that's a lot. Maybe you need to do some self-reflection and figure out why you're on your fourth. Holy moly.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so she doesn't come in on Monday because she's too tired. I'm like, okay. And then, was it Tuesday? What? I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was Tuesday. We were super busy. Like, we had stuff that, like, basically all of the deadlines, everything had to be out today, but there's only 3 assistants working. So, like, we are running around trying to get everything done. And as I've said before, I am the most technology savvy person in my firm, but, like, I can only do one thing at one time. and we had to send out this thing, and it was way too big. Like, it was too many megabytes, because when you redact stuff in Adobe, it makes the file size larger.
Yeah, well, because you're adding to it essentially.
So we couldn't get it sent off, and like I was like trying to help. It was the end of the day, and then she just stands up and goes, "This is too stressful. I'm leaving." And then clocks out a half an hour early and just leaves. And we're like, "What?" I'm sorry.
I wish I had the nerve.
Yeah. And then the next day she's supposed to come in, doesn't show up, nobody can get a hold of her, and she tells, because she was like part-time through a temp agency, she tells the temp agency she never wants to come back.
That seems really extreme.
Yeah. And the thing is, so I understand leaving if someone yells at you, someone's like really mean to you, but it was just busy. Literally, because 9 times out of 10, she sits there and reads her book.
Like, she's fine. She's getting paid to read.
Yeah, but no, the one day she's actually asked to do work, she goes, "Nope, this is too stressful. I'm leaving."
I wish I could just like be like, not so much. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's days where I want to so bad, but
yeah. So it was wild. We came in today, and the other assistant, she gets back from New York, and she's like, "How was it while I was gone?" And it was like, "Well, let me tell you."
That's actually so funny, because when I went away on vacation, also I was gone to Florida for like a week. Super fun. Got a little sick. Still a great time. Florida's gross though.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Florida's disgusting. I came back to work, and I was like, "What did I miss while I was gone?" My manager goes, "Well, you missed more than most people miss when they leave for a week." That was the first thing. I was like, okay. And then the next day we had off because it was a holiday. I was like, so I'm back for one day, so I get to digest all this for one day, and then I get like a long weekend. Okay. But it was very odd. Don't recommend doing that.
No. So I don't know. And she was also supposed to cover vacation, so I don't know what's gonna happen for vacation. But like, that's the thing with jobs, is some days you have like it's nothing going on, and other days, everything's on fire. You take it.
Yeah, take it day by day.
Yeah, exactly. So she's gone now. And so that's fun.
It's like a great time.
Oh yeah. So, and like today, by the end of like 3 o'clock, I like did not have much to do, and I was like, okay, this is fine. I came in to like clean up a mess. It was really bad. So in legal, we have these like spiral hole punchers. That it's called like a steno. And it's like you have to use this giant like old machine that looks like it's from the 80s, and it goes like kunk kunk. So
yes, I've used them before.
Yeah. So I had to do like a bunch of books. I had to do like 5 books. They were all 200 pages, and I get like a message from my lawyer, and they're like, actually I need you to take out something, and I'm like, I have done 4 already. This is the day that the temp walked out, and I was like, and then they're like, it's fine, like I'll take them out. So I come in the next day, and there's just like all these little papers all around my desk, like little scraps of paper, because I talked to the lawyer today, and they're like, yeah, I got into work, and I was like, I felt so bad. I just started like ripping out the pages that weren't needed. And it's funny because this lawyer is the one who actually got me the job.
Oh.
And I told them today, I was like, like, I want you to know that I really like you. I think you're a great person, and I appreciate you. But in that moment, I was going to kill you.
In that moment, you were my mortal enemy.
Yeah. And they were like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's fine. Like, they're such a nice person. Because, like, I didn't know them before the job. They're, like, a friend of a friend. But, yeah, I was like, in that moment, you were dead to me.
Yeah, I mean, we all have those moments.
Yeah. No. Oh, but that's what work has been up to. The only other thing is I sat down, I'm getting ready for stream, and I pay to get my eyebrows tinted. And Amy was like, got me on this product. It's called like Tattoo Brow.
Oh yes.
So So I sat down and I was like, why do my eyebrows like look really dark? I put it on and forgot I put it.
Good job.
So I was like, what if I just started stream like peeling off my eyebrows?
So I have the product too, Maybelline
Yeah.
Tattoo Brow. I saw it, I think, on TikTok. And like Kelsey too, I like to go get my eyebrows. Like, I usually go and get them waxed and tinted. I don't just go to get them tinted.
Oh yeah, get them waxed too.
Yeah, so I can't justify like I do it like once and then like this kind of like gets me through until I need to go get them like completely redone. But this stuff is like tar.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
so
put it
gross.
on, it's very thick and gloopy,
Yeah.
and bless my fiance's soul, I'll put it on and then they'll FaceTime me. If I have it on while they're FaceTiming me, they'll call me their little chihuahua because they say I look like that meme where the person put the tape on their dog, and every time I'm like, I'm gonna give you this ring back.
Yeah. Just a fun side note. But this
Yeah.
podcast is not sponsored.
Not
However, if
sponsored,
you-
although yeah, I would I'd be willing to shuck this product. It's pretty solid. Like it does the job. I think I currently have it in my brows with like no other product besides gel. I don't know if that's what you have. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I had to do like a little bit here
Yeah.
because I just put it on the sides and then it just didn't.
Yeah.
I gotta put it on the whole thing.
Yeah, I try to like touch it up. I did this part I didn't do super great. But like for like $20, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
So that's been something Amy and I have been talking about. The other thing that has been consuming us has been Love is Blind, season 4.
Chokehold.
Yes.
And not only on us, but on like maybe it is
Social
just
media.
us, but like on the side of social media we are on.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't watch Love is Blind, simple premise, you sit in pods, you talk to a bunch of people for a couple of weeks, and they decide to get engaged, sight unseen, you get engaged, you go to Mexico, you move in together for 2 weeks, you plan your wedding, and then it's do you say I do at the altar or not, and they're getting legally married. At first I was
Yes.
like, I don't think they're legally married. So we're on season 4 now. Season 4 is Seattle, which is the closest to us.
Yeah.
And this season was wild. This season was extremely toxic. But this season also has like my second favorite couple.
See, you say it was toxic, but I think it was less toxic than last season. Like I think the couples that got together at the end, at least. Also, quick preface, spoiler alert for anybody who has not finished or watched Love is Blind. Any of the seasons, we're probably going to go back and forth talking about all the different contestants for the most part. So if you don't want spoilers, just come back and listen another time. But if not, we are here to talk about this now.
We shall proceed.
We shall proceed. I just wanted to put that out there. But I would say, like, last season, the couples did seem like really angry at each other, or like they would say some like mean things, but I felt, and I think this season a lot of the contestants were slightly older, like they were closer to their 30s than they have been in the past couple seasons, so I think that kind of helped.
Yeah. So this season it followed 5 couples, even though 8 got engaged in the pods. So my first gripe with Love is Blind is that it does not show. I want more of the pods, and I understand you only have the budget to follow these 5 couples, because every season they follow either
I think it's about 4 or 5.
Yeah, because it's like 5 or like 6, but both times they followed 6. Those couples have broken up, like either both couples broke up in Mexico.
Yeah.
But this season they followed 5, even though 8 got engaged, and like people have been yelling at Netflix. We want more pods. We want to see more people. Because you only really get to know the 5 they follow, and it's like you want to learn more about all the other people. And it's like it's okay to follow someone's story and show them not making any connections, I think
so too. I think it because they always say that Love is Blind is an experiment. It's a
Yeah.
social experiment because, like, can you fall in love sight unseen? So when you see these people having these conversations, making these connections, you know, sometimes they're just not great conversations. And, like, yes, okay, that doesn't make great TV, but, like, you can, I mean, they edit the shit out of those pods, like, those pod conversations anyway. Like, this season we found out that, was it Zach?
Yes.
Zach sang a song for Irina, who he proposed to. And the way Netflix cut it was that he said that he wrote this song for her. But, so he goes and sings this song. Kind of bad, might I add. Not to hate on Zach. He seems like a fine guy, but he's not the greatest singer. And he sang the song, and then once the episode came out on Netflix, people were like, Zach didn't write this song. Like, what the fuck? Like, Irina, he straight up lied to you. But then he went on TikTok and cleared it up, saying, no, I jokingly said afterwards, no, I didn't write this song. Like, it's by so and so, and just Netflix cut that out.
Cut it out
because they thought it was funny, which kind of was, but it's creating a slightly false narrative.
Yes. It created a false narrative, but it also, from a marketing standpoint, got people talking, but then it put him in a negative light, and he's being, like, called a liar, and it's like, because with a lot of reality TV shows, people who are villainized like to blame the edit. And a lot of the times, because queens on Drag Race say this best, you can blame the edit all you want, but you said those things.
Exactly. And sorry, continue.
But things can be taken out of context, because there's a scene in, my favorite is the scene in Scooby-Doo 2 where Fred's giving an interview and he goes, you guys take stuff out of context all the time. You're gonna make it look like I think Coolsville sucks. This just in, Fred thinks Coolsville sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's how it works. And I mean, we saw also in Love is Blind last season that they did that to, what's that guy with the tears? You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, Andrew, yeah.
Andrew. So last season in Love is Blind, there was this man who was giving an interview, Andrew, and he's sitting there, and then all of a sudden he goes and reaches in his pocket. He goes, "Can I do this? Is that okay?" And they put in the producer saying, I mean, do what you want, like, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And he puts eye drops in his eyes and then continues to do his interview like he's been crying. And I really don't know how this man thought that Netflix was just gonna allow that to slide through. Like,
nah.
Fuck being petty. That's just literally showing you, like, what kind of guy he was. The fact that he was, like, willing to do that, or thinking that, like, oh, like, Netflix isn't gonna edit that. Or, like, they're gonna edit it to make me look like I'm crying.
Nah.
And now the whole world knows you're a fool. For the better.
Oh yeah. No, this guy was wild. But this season, this is the first time 3 couples have gotten married, because in the first, second, and third season, only two couples each got married. The first season, they're both still together. The second season, both couples are divorced. The third season, they're both still together. And then now the fourth season, so Brett and Tiffany got married, who was the only couple, like, that I was like 100% they should get married. They're both the Browns, they're both older, they're mature, they are super compatible. Chelsea and Kwame, you know,
question.
I'm iffy on them.
Yeah, but, like, if they're happy, they're happy.
Yeah. And then, you know what? I actually came around to Zach and Bliss. I came around to Zach.
Yeah, I think Zach's actually, like, he's an odd duck.
Yeah.
But he's very sweet. Like, he's that, like, sweet, kind of, like, nerdy guy who you're like, who's ever gonna want to marry him? But then he finds his person, and you're like, gross. You're like, okay, it's allowed.
Yeah, I think like me, I was a little like biased because like I at my old firm we had so many like male lawyers, and so they were all like a lot of them were so toxic, and I was like, ugh, a male lawyer.
No, and I totally get that. Like
Yeah.
I think I thought Bliss was gonna say no just on the
Mhm.
basis of him, like Bliss. So like Zach broke up with Bliss, then proposed to Irina, and then they went to Mexico together, and it was the worst possible situation. Like, it was so, I felt so bad for Zach. Like, Irina was just not being nice, saying he looked like a cartoon character.
Mhm.
Granted, I think Zach was maybe trying to push it a little hard, but
Mhm.
in those situations, like, it's so difficult. Like, I feel like he was trying to make it work, just not in the best way, but she was also
Yeah.
being like a huge child about it.
Mhm.
And so then they broke up in Mexico, went back to Seattle. Bliss and him got together, and then he proposed in the most awkward way.
Oh God, it was so awkward. Now I love me a good boat date. They went on a boat, but like she's talking and he just like goes like,
Fiddling with his fucking ring box.
yeah, and he was just like, but like the thing is the two of them are both super awkward.
Yeah.
And as TikTok loves to, TikTok loves to diagnose people. It truly does. You get on the side of TikTok and you're like, maybe I'm autistic.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, like TikTok loves to diagnose people with things like this person's a sociopath, this person is a psychopath, this person's autistic, this person has ADHD. And then it's like you do this one thing, it's like when you look up your symptom on WebMD, you're dying.
Yeah.
But like people on TikTok are like, I'm pretty sure like Zach and Bliss are like both autistic or on the spectrum. And I was like, okay, well we don't know that, but like I could see it. They're both awkward as hell.
Yeah. You just
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. But like the thing is like TikTok is wild because they will pick apart literally like frame by frame of reality TV shows. And we've said now this is like the season we're on. And especially my TikTok is like all Love is Blind and people picking it apart. Like at first when that we thought but it's picking apart a narrative that Netflix puts out because people were picking apart that like Zach was pathological liar because he said he made up the song. And people were like, oh, this makes him a pathological liar and this and this and this. And you find out it was just,
Editing.
he wasn't, yeah, it was just editing. And it's crazy. And it puts weird, if like, so being a woman on the internet is already hard enough. But with TikTok now, I feel like there's a vitrality that we didn't have. Now, if you go on a reality TV show, you know that you are going to be judged. You are going to be picked apart. Now, before TikTok, it was Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And before all that, it was In Touch, People, I think it's the Esquire.
Yeah.
Yeah. You putting yourself out in the media, you invite yourself to be picked apart. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But it's unfortunately something that comes with the territory that we as a society have allowed, and it adds to our enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
And is it kind of fucked up? Yeah. We are not saying it isn't. Like I very much said I like to gossip. And
But I think there's like a difference between just like casual like gossiping, bantering, and like going on the internet and being like, this person has like autism through like these symptoms from me watching a show. Like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Like last season there was Colleen and Matt, and they said yes at the altar, but a lot of people thought that that was an abusive relationship just from, I think it was not the finale, where they come back.
oh, the reunion.
The reunion, like, people were saying like Colleen looked like uncomfortable, and also like in the show she constantly looked nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And through the whole process she kept saying how unsure she was about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even during the reunion, like they'd been married for a year and still hadn't moved in together.
Yeah.
And that raised a lot of red flags for people, including me, because I was like, that seems a little weird. But also, like, this show is on, like, an extremely accelerated timeline, and they were also, again, a lot younger.
Yes.
So, I remember there was, like, a whole like, a person was like, I'm a psychologist, and I'm now, like, I think Colleen should leave her relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure, like, they're still together.
Yeah, I looked it up and they're still together. The thing is, when you only see a very small percentage of someone else's lives,
Yeah.
it's very hard for you to know the full story and know and judge, and things can be taken out of context. Also, if you're even just having a bad day. So I was talking about this with my friend, and I was explaining, and then I had to kind of explain this to Trevor. So when you're hanging out, when primarily girls, if we're speaking from like that context, with all my girlfriends and my non-binary friends, not really my male friends, we will talk shit about each other's our partners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my partner didn't do this, do that, blah blah blah, and it's all in good. Like, we're not going, oh, I fucking hate my husband, like, not like that stuff, but like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they don't do their laundry enough. And I'm like, do I have to like smother you with your dirty laundry to get it across? And like, me and my friend Kirsten were talking, and I was like, and I said, I was like, I don't want you to think I don't love this person. And she's like, oh, why no? It's fun to talk shit about partners. Nobody wants to listen to you just gush about how much you love your partner and all the nice thing you do. No, it's not entertaining.
No. And like
Yeah.
it's kind of cathartic to let it out. Like you need a
Exactly.
you need a safe space to talk about those things.
And it's a safe space to let your frustrations out without starting a fight with your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like when you complain about it's the same thing as complaining about your coworkers at work, but you're not going to be like, fuck you, Deborah, you never refill the photocopier. Like,
Exactly. No, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So we only see such a small snippet. And then if we see them complain about something, if they only share 5 conversations they have and one of them is a fight, we're just gonna think, oh, they're not right for each other. Because like that's the whole thing with like Chelsea and Kwame. Like Chelsea saying like a lot of our good stuff happens off camera, but you just don't see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Like if
it doesn't make for good reality television.
no. Because like people were like, oh, Brett and Tiffany are boring. Yeah, because they had healthy communication.
Yeah.
Like they tried to edit this thing because like Brett's so so they tried to so Brett and Tiffany are not exciting. They seem very right for each other. But in the previews, they tried to make it seem like Tiffany ran off during their wedding day because Brett was freaking out and he's like, "This shouldn't happen on my wedding day." And you're like, "What is the context?"
Yeah.
It's because his suit pants didn't fit.
Yep.
That's all it was.
Yeah. Like you can edit it. Like I saw that and I was like, oh my god, are we about to see like something go like horribly wrong? And they did that last season too with Brennan and Alexa, because they made it look like they made it kind of look like either like Brennan was walking off or he was having like a serious conversation with his parents, and they have like Alexa going like, what the fuck is this? And then like that's at the end of the episode. And you would think with 4 seasons into this show that we would catch on to it being like bait.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that they did it with Brett and Tiffany, that's why I was like, no. they got me.
Well, like last season, Nancy's family actually almost started a riot.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
like,
but that was
fair.
deserved. Barty sucks.
Yeah. Oh, he sucks. So we get through the show, and, the show is over. And, okay, so the show is hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey. Now, Nick was a Backstreet Boy. He was married to Jessica Simpson. He had a reality TV show from Nick to Jessica. he's divorced Jessica and is married. Oh, I don't remember what Vanessa's name was before Lachey.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. Anyways, who she has always been a host. She used to host like it was either MTV or like TRL.
I think it was MTV.
Yeah. So she's always been a hoster. Um this reunion was painful. First of all, Nick is I think on oh my goodness, what's it called when you're
Probation.
yeah, Nick's on probation for assaulting a woman right now.
Yeah, he got really drunk, and I think I don't know if the article I read said that she was like paparazzi or like what she was, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for him at all, but
Yeah.
I was just like trying to paint the scenario. I can't remember if that's what the article said. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, it was he like kind of like ran up to her and like yeah, like assaulted her. So he had to go for like anger management and I think AA.
Yeah.
But before this finale even started,
Oh yes.
for this, yeah, I think we got to talk about this. For
Yeah, we
this
do.
season of Love is Blind, I think like from the day it premiered, because they drop like 3 to 4 episodes at a time, it just really kind of depends. And then the finale is always like on its own, like a week after. Well, this season, they said that the finale was going to be live. And all of us were like, whoa, like, that's pretty cool. Like, I was excited. I was like, ooh, we get to watch something like live. It was on a Sunday, and I was trying to make my plans for the day, and I was like, oh, do I want to stream before the finale, or do I want to stream after the finale? Like, how do I want to set up my day? So I streamed before the finale. So I was like, if like maybe I'll have like a drink and just like want to hang out for the rest of the night. Well, gets to be 5 o'clock and can't get into Netflix. We can't get into a waiting room or like anything, and they didn't have anything set up beforehand. And so we're like, this is kind of weird. And we go to like social media, and Twitter's all like, I can't get into like the finale. Like, what is going on? I can't get into the reunion. And so we're like, okay, it's not just us. This goes on for like 30 minutes. And then Netflix finally makes a tweet and says, oh, sorry, love is late. But it's worth the wait. And they were even like live streaming it on TikTok and like trying to get this going. And like, my God, the memes were great of people being like,
oh, so good.
People saying like, Netflix, I made my dinner to watch this. I have all my snacks and now I ate them all. Or being like, it's later than 30 minutes, so I get this month for free. Like there was so many crazy ones. Or people being like, did Brett need to go get his pants fixed again? Like, is this why we're delayed? But it just kept going and going and going with like no update at all until an hour and a half later. And they said, sorry, we cannot live stream this, but we're going to do it now. And then we're going to get it up as early as we can. But the issue is some people were able to get into the live feed. And so the people that were able to access the live feed were able to watch it and were posting spoilers like crazy. Or even, I think someone was live streaming it through TikTok, like just on their phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn it, like, can't have anything nice. So yeah, we had to watch it the next day, which was, I want to say on Netflix, like, we're streaming this right now, and like, this is small, and I recognize that. But you're a billion-dollar company. If you can't handle a live stream, that's on you and your infrastructure. Like, who did you let go and thought that you could still do this? Like, just the way it was handled was so poor. So poor.
It didn't make sense to me because I was taking a ferry, so I was like, oh, I'm missing the live stream. And then Amy starts texting me. And I see the tweets and I'm like, oh no. And so they had it available Monday. So it was supposed to be live streamed on Sunday. It was available Monday at noon. And it just it truly does baffle me because it is like a $1 billion company and Netflix is already losing subscribers due to the no password sharing. And this is one of your biggest. Netflix does realize that this is one of their biggest IPs right now.
Netflix is turning into like Bravo.
Yes.
With the amount of reality shows they're putting out. And yeah.
Because they're cheap.
Yeah.
They're cheap, and so they keep pumping out these shows. Like Love is Blind is now pumping out like candy. Like I think because the next one I'm pretty sure is Tampa, which they've already filmed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pumping out the candy because it's cheap, because they only pay them $1,000 a week to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure you get paid more to be on Survivor. However, though, I would say you have to do more on Survivor.
Oh yeah, you have to do way more.
Yeah. So this reunion, we watched the reunion. It was about 2.5 hours. It was meh, but Nick and Vanessa are not good hosts at all.
No. They asked some of the questions that I was like, thank you for asking this. Like some of them, but like the bare minimum ones. And then the thing with like Josh and Jackie not being there. And then kind of Vanessa digging into Marshall a lot was gross. Like I have a friend who like doesn't really care for Marshall, and I will agree, like Marshall is not like the best person, but I think like him and Jackie like brought out the worst in each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so like that wasn't fair to Marshall. And like it was so funny because like the couples that sat there who were all married, anytime something was brought up, you could just tell that they were like done with this reunion bullshit. Like first of all, they had to sit there on the stage for over an hour and a half, and now they have to listen to all these questions bringing up like essentially past trauma from their relationships. And like Chelsea and Bliss and even like Tiffany and all of them were like, this all happened like over a year ago. We don't care. Which is like the past couple seasons, because everyone's been so young, they've wanted to talk about it. But this season they're just like, yeah, we're moving on. Like we're happy, we're married, and like what else do you want from us?
Yeah, because all the older couples, all the married couples are the older couples. The younger couple, Paul and Micah, did not get married. Jackie and Marshall didn't get married. Irina did not get married. Irina was only 25.
Yeah.
Like, Irina is younger than us.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah. Because we're already child brides.
I know. Truly.
Truly. So it was really awkward. And then the worst part. So we hate Bartiste. This is a Bartiste hate club account. Like
if Bartiste has 1,000 haters, I am one of them.
One of them. Yeah.
If Bartiste has 0 haters, it's because I have died.
Yeah. So Bartiste has a baby. So it's a long story with this baby, but basically he filmed Love is Blind, then he filmed Perfect Match, which Perfect Match is also a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
MTV did it better and did it gayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he comes home. I think literally he had maybe been home for like a couple days, not get someone pregnant. She, from what the internet, because again, the internet has figured out who the baby mama is. And her whole life story, basically, she thought she was pregnant with another guy's baby.
I knew it! I knew it!
And then I guess the baby comes out, a paternity test is done, and it's Basketball's baby.
Yes, I knew it. I knew that had to be the scenario. I knew it.
This is all alleged, because the internet sleuth, this is all alleged from the internet sleuth.
Nah, I believe it. That's canon.
So now he's like parading this baby around on his social media.
Yeah.
And I do feel really bad for the baby mama, because she has deleted her social media.
Yeah.
Because as soon as people found her, of course people started, again, she did not consent. She wasn't on reality TV.
No.
When she met him, his show hadn't even aired yet. So she did not consent to this at all.
Yep.
Yeah. But so he's parading this baby around, and then he shows up at the live reunion, goes, I have a question. Me and my, I don't know, like, wait, one sec.
for those audio listeners, Kelsey is going to grab, I'm assuming, a plush.
I gotta do the visual gags for visual watchers.
Gotcha.
So this is Barti's baby. So me and my baby say hi. Oh, my baby loves Love is Blind, but he hasn't watched Daddy's season, and he's not going to watch Daddy's season. Yeah, because you see how awful your fucking father is.
Truly.
So I want to know who's gonna have the first Love is Blind baby. Ooh, don't you want one of these? Don't you want one of these? He didn't actually shake his baby, but like,
But like, this is all for dramatic effect.
yeah, dramatic effects. But like, come on, Amy, don't you want one of these?
And yeah, like, this was the thing. This was like at the end of the finale too. Like, Vanessa Lachey was like, I want a Love is Blind baby. Like, not that she already has like 3 children that and I'm sorry,
Yeah.
this is gonna sound really mean for a minute. She's obviously not taking care of them right now. Like, and she's even talking about how like she wants a 4th child, but Nick won't give her one. And I'm like, but you could tell that question made every single one of the couples so uncomfortable.
So the thing is, so Lauren and Cameron are everyone's favorite couple from the first season. And Lauren has talked about how she struggles with fertility, and she's very much over everyone keep asking her,
Yeah.
when are you having a baby?
Yeah.
And that was the same thing with this season. Like, every single couple was super uncomfortable when they asked that question. They've only been together a year. Not that, like, yes, they've been married a year, but they've actually only been together a year and a half.
Yeah. And so, like,
Yeah.
every single couple is like, we're literally still getting to know one another. And I remember, like, in the show, Chelsea talked about how much she wanted to have, like, a family. Like, she wanted to jumpstart her life, like, settle down.
Mhm.
But Kwame wasn't ready for that. And I watched a video of all the Love is Blind couples on The Cut where they do, like, Truth or Drink.
Mhm.
And Chelsea and Kwame, like, actually talked about it. And Chelsea said that she was like, yeah, like, we thought about having kids, but, like, right now, like, we just want to, like, enjoy being married. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so, like, y'all did have that conversation. Because, yeah, Chelsea was, like, ready to have kids.
Yeah. But kids change things in relationships.
Yep.
Anyone who has a kid knows this. Kids change things.
Yeah.
And
You can't get to
You-
know somebody if you also have to learn how to raise a baby together.
yeah. So, and like, unfortunately, having kids also can bring out the worst in people
Mhm.
because they eat, they sleep, they cry. You're sleep deprived. You're covered in shit. Like, you're constantly taking care of this thing that cannot take care of himself. You know, if you got anxiety, it makes your anxiety worse. Like, there's this TikToker who talked about how best advice her mother gave her was, in the first year of your baby's life, do not bring up the divorce word once, because
Yes.
you two are gonna see the worst in each other.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that one too.
And yeah, and it's true. So they're all getting to know each other. I mean, Trevor and I have been together, I think, almost 3 years.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years, like, this fall.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, is that like too short to get married? And these people are married, and now they're trying to force like a kid out within like the first year and a half.
Yeah. I don't, at least on the marriage standpoint, I don't think there's, like, a right or wrong time to get married. It's just
Yeah.
dependent on what you want out of life. And it's honestly
Exactly.
kind of the same thing with kids. But
Mhm.
I think in a Love is Blind context where you're dealing with a social experiment and all these people are trying really hard to make these relationships work. And you can tell that because they want to be in them. If they didn't, they would begin a divorce. Granted, who knows next 6 months if we'll get some Instagram announcements.
Yeah.
You just never know. But
Mhm.
yeah, and I like you said, like, Lauren from the first season struggles with it too, and it's like, Vanessa, like, I feel like after this season, I feel like some producer on the show is gonna be like, can't do it,
Yeah.
can't do
Because
it.
they were all like, I was uncomfortable. I was visibly
Yeah.
uncomfortable. You don't, especially like, you don't know who struggles with fertility. I've before asked someone, I was like, oh, like, because like they're at their 30s, a coworker, and I was like, oh, do you have kids? And she's like, actually, no, I've had 3 miscarriages, so I can't have children. And it's like, oh, okay. Um, you know, some people are dealing with that shit, or maybe some people just aren't ready. Like, there's so many reasons why you don't have kids, and you don't have to disclose any of them. But I just think it was such an uncomfortable question. And she's going, oh, I want the first Love is Blind baby. You have one. Bartise just waved that thing in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, he's part of the Love is Blind cast. Are you saying his baby doesn't count because it's not Nancy's?
I mean, that's probably what she meant, and also I don't want Bartise's baby to count either, but that's just me.
No. But, like, Jessica from the first season is pregnant.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah. So, and, like, you got an ultimatum baby.
I don't think we ever wanted that, though.
True. Yeah. So, speaking of ultimatum, the best part of this entire finale was the trailer for the Queer Ultimatum series. And as you can see, Amy is very, very excited.
Oh, hell yeah. I've been waiting for this ever since they announced that it was going to be a thing. Because, like, I don't know. I'm just like, besides being gay and being really excited to see how messy this TV show is, like, the first season of The Ultimatum was wild, to say the least. Like, it was already very messy. But, like, if TikTok has taught me anything, lesbians are messy.
Oh god, lesbians are so messy. But here's the thing I find so funny about The Ultimatum is because there's 100%, there's two types of lesbians. There is the, we started dating 2 weeks ago and now we're engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Or we've been together for 12 years, but you know,
We're just,
we don't need,
Yeah.
we're good. We don't need to.
yeah. Which, like, again, every relationship's at their own pace, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I
it's a
feel like
really
there's-
bad stereotype. Lesbians
Yeah,
to get married really fast.
Because I feel like there's no, like, you know, like, oh, like, we've dated for, like, 4 years and now we're getting married and then engaged. Nah, it's either right away or it's been 22 years and they're like, hey, you want to get married tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's
Yeah.
there's really no in between, and I just think
Yeah.
the trailer looked really good. It looked really dramatic. Like, I was talking to a coworker about it, and she watches Love Is Blind, and I asked her, I was like, did you see the trailer for The Ultimatum? Like, did you watch the first season? And she said, yeah, she did. And she went, the trailer, though, made me a little uncomfortable. And I was like, why? And she's like, not for anything like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
look, I just gotta double check. And she was like, but because they're like all women, and you know, when like you see someone like you on TV getting like really emotional and like into your feel, she's like, I just was like getting really emotionally overwhelmed on behalf of all these women.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that completely makes sense. I totally get it. And I think that's like maybe one of the reasons I'm also really excited to see this, because it's going to be really interesting to see the different, like, gay relationships are very different from straight relationships, no matter how you want to say it. Like, they're just different. Like, timeline different, how we handle conflict different, how we interact with each other different, how we share things different. Like, it's just slightly different. And so I'm just, oof, it's gonna be so messy. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait.
No, I'm so excited for it. And I like that. So there's more because they're all I don't know, there's like more ways to mix it up.
Yeah.
Which I like. But yeah, it's gonna be so messy and I am here for it because yeah, lesbians, y'all messy. Like but like we love it.
Yeah.
Like you know, we're women who love to gossip, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that people who are non-binary and men don't love to gossip, because they do too.
But it's just different.
Yeah,
And-
it's just, you know, girly things.
Exactly, just girly things. And I think it'll be really interesting to have this kind of be like a queer representation on like the internet. I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't like the healthiest thing to have. But I mean, if anyone who watched Perfect Match this season, what they did on that show was also not a good representation of anything.
I just find it funny that Netflix has canceled all of their lesbian shows, and then they're like, ah,
We'll make it up to you.
we'll make it up to you.
We'll give you the most toxic dating show you could ever possibly imagine. And I'm like, okay.
Yay. Just for you as a treat. You've earned it.
Yeah. We're gonna cancel all your shows, but
Yeah. So that's coming out, which we're excited for. But so we talk about Love Is Blind and we enjoy it. You know, it's trashy, it's funny, it's camp, but there's currently a lawsuit about Love Is Blind right now
yes.
from past contestants, and this has been very prevalent in, I don't know what happened in season 2, but it sounds like season 2 had like some of the worst mistreatments, and I don't know if it's because season 1 it was very experimental, so they didn't really have much to go off of. Season 2 they had the huge success, and then maybe season 3 and season 4 are still under contracts.
Potentially I could see that, because season 2, was that the one with what's her
That's
name?
Nick and Danielle.
Yes.
Yeah, Shane and Natalie.
Yes. So I would say they're probably off contract. And probably the first people, like the first season, because it was probably a lot of trial and error and they were trying to do the best they could.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't care enough. And also because like season 2, none of the couples are together.
No, and then with season 1, you know, it was actually, they were like, okay, let's see if this concept works. Because it's, so if you don't know, the people who produce Love is Blind also produce Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Which is funny because if you watch an old episode of Married at First Sight, you see Kwame in the background.
Yeah, which is really awkward.
Yeah. But, because, so in the first season, there's this couple, Kelly and Kenny. And Kelly on TikTok has been sharing everything. And it seems much more of a positive experience than season 2, because so Danielle was one of the couples who got married. Nick and Danielle got married in season 2, and Danielle had it looked like lots of meltdowns, and everyone was like, she needs therapy, she needs therapy, she needs therapy. Well, the girl has been there in therapy for years, and they caught her at every one of her worst moments. She tried to leave the show in Mexico, but if you leave, you're fined $50,000.
Oof.
So, because they kind of hold that over you, and I don't know if like it's up to them whether or not they're like, all right, you wouldn't be a good story, we'll waive that. But yeah, so she, when they originally interviewing people for the show, you get like 30 minutes with the psychologist, and they, I guess, to try and figure out if you're right for this show.
Yeah.
And she's talked about, she struggles with mental health, she struggles with trigger warning, she struggles with suicidal thoughts, and she's you know, attempted suicide. And the psychiatrist was like, nah, she's fine, send her in.
Yeah, their screening process isn't great.
Yeah. And you know, she has a lot of mental issues, and like, as well as she developed a really bad eating disorder because, you know, she had body image issues, she lost a bunch of weight. She talked about that on the show, and then you saw from her wedding to the reunion, it's called like, so they have, it's called After the Altar. She had lost even more weight, and she was incredibly thin. And she's talked about in interviews that she had developed an eating disorder because she felt like she wasn't thin enough. And their lawsuit entails that saying they're paid about $1,000 a week. They're extremely long, like, filming. They said it was inhuman, sleep was irregular, and they ply them with so much liquor.
Yeah. Most people who watch Love is Blind is very familiar with the gold goblets. Wherever the contestants are, whatever they're drinking is always out of a gold goblet, and it always seems to be alcohol. Like, there is not a single episode where it's not implied at least once that someone is like not drinking alcohol. Like, it's just always constantly there.
And there's a famous scene from, so this season, Brett and Tiffany, they're talking. Brett starts to pour his heart out to Tiffany, and she falls asleep. Now, they try to play it off as, oh, it's so funny, haha. And Tiffany's like, his voice is so soothing. But you look, and there's a half-drank bottle of tequila in front of her. She's passed out.
Yeah.
It's not funny that you're just like giving her that much alcohol, because yeah, this show just literally plies them with so much alcohol, because when people drink, people get messy, and that makes, in a reality TV show, that makes good content. Like, I talk nonstop about MTV's Are You the One because of the queer season, because it is so messy but so good, but they ply them also with so much alcohol that, like, I understand
It's
dating someone.
Yeah.
And, getting to know a bunch of strangers is awkward, and some people do need that liquid courage, but there should be a cap.
Yeah, like Kelsey seen me before one time when I went on a date. I literally took a shot and then went out the door because I was so nervous. And yeah, like a lot of times, like drinking is a very social thing to do, and it's very normal to go and be like, hey, you want to grab like a drink for a first date? Super normal. But not when these dates can be like 4 to 5 to 6 hours, and if that's all you're doing is drinking, that's a lot of alcohol.
It's a lot of alcohol. They're trapped in these rooms. Those rooms are not that big.
No, they probably get really warm.
Like I know, so in the third season, people were clowning on, her name is Raven. She's a Pilates instructor, but she started doing like push-ups and stuff. And while this man was pouring his heart out to her, but it's Bartise, so like I don't care. But I can see why. They're probably on a 3-hour date, and she'd been sick of just like sitting there, and she, you just need to like
move
because apparently they barely let them outside. And the only time they would go outside is the bathrooms were not on set.
Just so weird.
So they would so you're trapped in a small dark room, no windows, talking to this stranger for hours on end. And sleep was so infrequent, apparently meals were so infrequent. So you're tired, you're hungry, they're plying you with alcohol.
It's a lot. Like, of course you're gonna like feel stressed or anxious or break down. Like, that's a lot to put on just like an average person.
Yeah, and people don't understand, how do they make these connections so quickly? Well, think of them as war marriages, right? Like, Amy and I are best friends. But we met in Florida, where we were overworked, underpaid, drinking heavily, barely like eating ramen, and you just bond kind of through trauma. And I feel like they're all just they
trauma
call
bonded.
it an experiment. Yeah. It's not an experiment anymore. They're trauma bonding them.
For sure. Sure. Yeah, it's bad. So I personally, from like a legal perspective, I don't think this lawsuit's going to go anywhere. And I don't think it's going to stop Netflix from making more seasons. But I think it's going to make people a lot more weary.
Yeah. Like, it'll settle. It won't go. I think there is some grounds on it.
For sure,
like,
yeah.
It won't settle for very big. It'll be an average settlement, because what big corporations love to do is drag shit out as long as they can. Like, I think we have a file right now that's been like 6 years ongoing. Like, the legal system loves to just drag things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're hoping that they drag it out long enough, you'll get sick of the lawsuit and just settle.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is horrendous, but that's the legal system for you.
Yeah. I will say, I was reading an article just about like the lawsuit and everything like that. And one of the bylines for it was, is a mid at best Netflix dating show really worth ruining people's lives?
Like, I mean, people's lives have been ruined for less good shows. I'm looking at you, MILF Manor.
We don't. Don't, because now my fiance's gonna watch this and they're gonna remember we need to finish that show. And I was hoping we could just move on.
Just let it die.
Let it die. Let it die.
Yeah.
Let it shrivel up and die.
Why watch MILF Manor when you can watch The Queer Ultimatum?
Truly.
Which I am excited about that. So the first season of The Ultimatum was hosted by Nick and Vanessa. This season is not, thankfully.
Yeah.
It's, what's her name?
Okay, is she from Teen Wolf?
No,
okay.
She's... Oh my goodness, I know what she plays like Ariel in Once Upon a Time, but she's acted in so many things.
Yeah, she looked really familiar. That's why I was like, I thought she was from Teen Wolf.
Okay. Joanna Garcia.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, when Nick and Vanessa weren't hosting, I was like, are y'all homophobic?
Oh, it's Cheyenne from Reba.
That's who it was. Yeah. Yeah. When Becca told me that, I was like, I love that for her.
Yeah, I was like, she's been in something like, because she's so.
She has that like face that you just like know. Yeah.
But like Reba is one of my sister's favorite shows growing up, so I've
so
probably
good.
seen like every season of Reba like multiple times because if it was on, Jennifer was watching Reba.
Yeah, Reba's good. Reba's a great show.
Yeah, she's a single mom who works too hard.
Who loves her kids and never stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved
But
Reba.
yeah, so I love it. Oh, they could have a. They just need Van hosting it with her.
Please, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, that's the only straight couple I would accept hosting that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know we talked about Tampa's gonna be the next season of Love is Blind, and then I think they were slated for one more, but then it's like uncertain after that if they're gonna get anything more than 6, or is it only 5?
Yeah, well, Tampa and Washington, D.C.
Washington D.C. was the other one, and now we're not sure.
Yeah,
nothing else has been said.
Yeah, because people are like, oh god, it's gonna be a bunch of like wannabe senator bros.
Nobody needs that.
Nobody
but the thing is, they absolutely will not be, though, because then they won't have a career in politics if they're on a reality TV show.
True.
So I don't think we will.
Yeah.
You might get some people who are like, I helped in a, I don't know, some whatever, American politics. Like, I helped run a campaign, but, like, those people never, like, make it to Senate.
Well, could you imagine if they had done, before the crypto bubble popped, a San Francisco season?
Blech. I don't think I could have watched it.
Awful season. All would have been like Valley crypto guys with their vests. You know, they all have the Patagonia vests.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So the thing is though, because if we're gonna go back to the alcohol, is I mean, they say like, oh, you don't need to drink to have fun, but they ply them with so much alcohol, but you can make meaningful connections. So, because Amy and I were talking about this on so when you think of shows where you're sequestered with a group of people and you need to make relationships, the biggest ones are Survivor and Big Brother. Now, Survivor, you are surviving off barely anything. So on the very rare time you do get alcohol, you've won like a reward where you get like one thing of beer.
Yeah.
And like a burger.
Yeah, because you have any more alcohol than that, you're gonna like throw it up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get so sick. But then on Big Brother, where you do actually get fed.
Yeah, you have like celebration alcohol, or if you are head of household, you sometimes get like a 6-pack. I think last season you could see people drinking like Angry Orchard or anything like that. Apparently, they used to allow a lot more, but past seasons kind of showed them that, again, like people who've watched Big Brother, like, you know, you're in a house with 20 people, I don't know, it's a lot of people, for however many weeks, and like tensions can get high, like very high, very fast, without alcohol.
Yeah.
And Big Brother has like a really strict, like, no physical violence at all. Like, there was a guy who they got in each other's face and he just kind of like shoved him off, and he got kicked out of the house just for doing that.
Yeah. Because we all experienced during lockdown, we all experienced our own mini Big Brothers, and couples literally just got divorced left, right, and center. So to spend all that time locked away with someone, tensions do raise, and the fact that they're just plying them with so much alcohol because, you know, people also aren't thinking clearly when they're drunk, and they start fights, and fights are good for reality TV. Like, I've gotten into stupid fights when I've been drinking, and like, I think back as a sober person, I was like, why did I do that? Like, Amy and I have sometimes gotten in the silliest arguments when we've both been drinking.
Yeah, and it just is not worth that.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, well, this was not needed, but I guess it would make better TV.
Yeah, well, for sure it would, because it's more interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's unfiltered.
Exactly, but it goes back to, you know, you don't tell your friends, like, oh, you know, like, my fiance picked me up from work today. It was super nice. And then he was like, hey, do you want to go get sushi? Like, nobody cares.
No, it's not fun.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
alcohol is fun till a certain point. Like
Exactly.
it serves its purpose.
So, because what I found was interesting is on Perfect Match. So they also had a lot of alcohol in Perfect Match. But Chloe's sober.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember who else, but they bonded over their sobriety. But it's like also it is hard to be the sober one when you're surrounded by drunk people.
It is. It's really hard.
Yeah. And like you can see like that woman is she's like the human personification of gummy worms, I think. Like she's just fun and sugary and all over the place, but she hadn't had to drink alcohol. And you can be interesting and not have alcohol.
Exactly.
But it's not to say I'm against drinking, because obviously I drink. And if you do other things, today is a special day for you, being in April 20th.
No, it's like what they say with the BC Lotto: know your limit, play within it. Or if you're gonna drink within your limit. Like,
I honestly, the BC Lotto thing is so good because I say that all the time, unironically.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so easy to say. Such an easy little quip.
I'm pretty sure I said it to Trevor at dinner time.
Yeah, like it's so simple. I really hope whoever thought of that is having a great day.
Yeah. But I guess to wrap this up, we don't think, the lawsuit, will it go somewhere? They'll settle. They will settle for a smaller amount and they'll move on because Netflix is a big corporation. And the person suing was somebody who didn't get much airtime. So there's not much rallying. Although with Danielle now being very open, honest about it, and we'll see how the rest of the things come out. I don't know, could change, but it's an ongoing lawsuit that you really don't know what's going to happen.
I think the only way he would really have grounds is if like a couple who was still married came and was like, yeah, what we went through was really tough. Yeah. I think that's the only way, because if you're going off of somebody who had barely any airtime
or got divorced, you can claim they're better.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to claim, and I'm not saying this guy is invalid in his like thoughts or reasoning at all for this lawsuit. Like, no, like sue, like that's your right, do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, do you forget that you're going against a massive billion-dollar company? So I think he'll probably try, maybe once people's contracts are up. I'm sure Shane would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. People thought Shane was addicted to coke. So
yeah, we'll see.
That man was a whole other thing. But
yeah, will I be watching the next season? Well, that depends on if I go home to log into my parents' internet or not, because I refuse to pay for Netflix.
I know, I'm so mad right now. I want to watch Shadow and Bone season 2, but I don't have a login.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I scour the dark part of the internet? I'm sure I could find it.
Yeah. But I think I guess I'm trying to wrap this all up the best way I can. Reality TV is not real. We all know this. This has been very true since the dawn of reality TV. And it's not real. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. You don't know these people. It's only a sliver of their lives and what's shown to the camera. Most people are put in situations that they've never been in before, so you no idea how you'd react. And you just kind of have to take it as what it is. It's entertainment. And like enjoy it, but kind of leave people alone.
Yeah.
And like it's Amy and I, we can shit talk the show all we want, but we're not gonna go find Bartice's baby mama and harass her on social media.
Yeah, tell her to dump him. Not gonna do that.
No,
it's not up to me.
Exactly. Like it's none of our business. You know, you're a public figure, but there are still people, even though some of them may seem not like people. Um, they're still people.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say, if people wanted to know if the Love is Blind experiment really worked, contact a blind person.
Yeah.
Because they have no choice.
Exactly.
But to marry someone sight unseen. Like,
why don't they make a Love is Blind season with blind people?
yeah, like that would actually be like speed dating.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the whole reason they want the social experiment is because, I mean, there was Shake and Deepti where he was like obsessed with her in the pods, and then when he saw her, although it was weird watching it back, there's like a clip of Shake like grabbing Deepti's butt and being like, "Oh my god, you're so hot, you're so beautiful, you're so, like I can't believe like you're real," and then him just reverting to being like, "She's like my aunt."
Yeah.
So that's like half the social experiment is like, can you get over the physical connection? Because like, we're shallow people.
Oh yeah.
It just happens, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting to me because I can't remember what show this is from. I think it's actually from Doctor Who, where Amy's talking about Rory and she says, you know, when you meet some people and they're like, you know, they're all right, but then you find out who they are inside and suddenly they become the most beautiful person you've ever seen. And that's what love is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to lie and say attraction isn't a thing, but someone who, you know, if you don't know them at all, you're kind of like, okay. But then when you know their heart and everything about them, they become such a beautiful person.
Yeah. Like, attraction always fades.
Yeah.
Attraction will always fade.
We're all going to be bald and, you know, wrinkly one day, so you might as well fall in love with the person inside.
Exactly. Like, that's all that should truly matter.
Yeah.
Not to be all sappy.
Yeah, not to be all sappy. Okay, I'll stop with the sappiness. I refuse to age. I refuse.
Well, yes. As far as Love is Blind goes, what?
Sorry, no, I cut you off.
Oh no, I was gonna say, as far as Love is Blind goes, this is a Bartise Tate account. This is a Irina Do Better account.
Yeah.
I don't want to say hate because she's young and dumb, and but I do agree with a little bit with Zach of the sentiment of she went on the show to get famous, because that girl was dressing for Too Hot to Handle, not Love is Blind.
Yeah, no, this will always and forever be a Bartise Tate account, and I think it's fair to hate that man.
Yep.
Yeah, because he does himself no favors.
He does himself no favors. He's been on 2 separate reality shows, did himself no favor on any of those reality shows.
Yeah. So.
I think Perfect Match really, like, put nails in his coffin.
Oh, yeah, that 100% put nails in his coffin.
Yeah. But.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are back and better than ever. I'm going to do better to be posting on social media so you can keep up with us better. Don't blame Amy, blame me.
No one blames it.
Oh, everyone blames me. Amy's only job is to sit here, be pretty, and edit the podcast.
I do more than that. Thank you. But that's like a good chunk of my job.
Yeah, good chunk of your job. Yeah. Yeah. No, what was I gonna say? We will have so the episode will come out on next Thursday. And then I think are we switching to Wednesday?
Let me look at my handy dandy calendar. Yes, the next month gets a little funky. Because
but you know, bear with us.
Yeah, bear with us. We're still gonna be around. The episodes will be uploaded on Thursdays. Just like the live recording dates might be a little funky, but you know what? We still got you. You'll still get like your 2 episodes or like an episode and a half. So
exactly. So
we're still around.
We're still here. We'll be here for you. We're a single podcast who works too hard, but we love our viewers and we'll never stop.
The gentle hands in the heart of a fighter. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, I don't remember. Wait, do I remember? Do I still remember
Yeah.
the Reba theme song? Even though it's a song that she actually wrote, it's not just the Reba theme song.
All right, Amy. Now you can do the outro.
That's my job here.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for listening this week. Yeah, like Kelsey said, the live episodes might be a little sporadic, but the episodes will still go out on Thursdays after we do the live episodes the following week. You can listen to those episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and if you listen to us on Spotify, please give us a review. We really, really, really appreciate it over there. You can find us on social media on Twitter at CYTMS Podcast. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Can You Take My Shift. You can also find us over on YouTube at Can You Take My Shift, and that's where we also upload the VODs the following weeks. So if you want to watch our beautiful faces, you can see them over there. You can follow Kelsey at Kelsey Peets on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. And you can follow me at Shelly Amy on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch as well. But until next time, Kelsey, can you take my shift?
That depends. So I want to know who's having the first Can You Take My Shift baby? Like, who wants it? We want a baby, Amy.
Well, I think in this scenario, the only person who can have one without the trying is you. So we have lots of plush babies.
Hey,
Oh,
turn
plush.
around. My baby's on your bed.
Oh yes, we have Aria.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.